Good morning. Yep, it's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it also. And two, in addition to that as well, this is the Uncle Lou live show. We take phone calls on here. The phone number, if you want to be on the show, is 706-510-6817. And we will start taking phone calls here in just a few minutes. Tonight is also the jersey giveaway for the month of June. So we'll do that somewhere around the halfway point of the show. It's 10:08 now. We'll do the jersey giveaway sometime around 10:30. So we'll take a few phone calls, do a jersey giveaway, and then take some more phone calls. That's the way it's going to work. As usual, when you call in, we can talk about anything you want to talk about. What we talk about is up to you. What's on my mind today? the best quarterbacks in the SEC. Who are they? Give me, when you call in, we can talk about whatever you want, but let's start the call off with you telling me who you think the best quarterback in the SEC is, or give me your top 2 or top 3 or top 5, whatever you want to do. Start the call off with that. Then we can take it anywhere you want to take it. Of course, as usual, special shout out to the good people over at Lanier HVAC Services. They're good enough to sponsor the Uncle Lou Show. Without them, I would not do this show as many times per week as I do it. So if you guys enjoy this show, you can thank Lanier HVAC Services for that. If you hate this show, you can blame Lanier HVAC Services for that. I'm just kidding. But anyway, they're good enough to take care of the Uncle Lou Show. So if you live in the Athens or Atlanta area or anywhere in between, Gainesville, Georgia, anywhere around in there, and you need some residential HVAC work done, give the good people over at Lanier HVAC Services a call. Their phone number is 678-943-1351. And tell them Uncle Lou said good morning. Thanks to everybody that's already joined in the comment section. I see a bunch of you in there arguing already, so you guys are off to a fast start today. Anthony Zelinka, good morning. Mark Dudley, Alan V, Joshua Chapman, Sir Lyons, Crimson and White. Uncle U is here. Good morning. Drake Luke, Air Max, Sooner Ace, John Browner, Elin, good morning. Tim Glaze, Slim Mosley, Bender Rodriguez, Roll Tide, Biggin, Old Country Boy, Duck Dynasty fan. Sir, I told you last time to change that YouTube name or shorten it or something. That's completely ridiculous, sir. Michael Allen, good morning. Stick Pig, Gang Green. These comments are going so fast, I'm probably missing some of these names. Clem Tiger, good morning, sir. Trayvon, good morning. Comic Dude, good morning. Tyler Farr, Nick Bro, Small and Nappy, our resident Pac-12 fan. You need to start calling in, Small Nappy. Let us know what's going on out on the West Coast. I know Washington is the favorite out there. They got a big game week 1 against Auburn. Call us. Let us know what's going on out there. JJ Johnson, College Football Maniac, good morning. Bobby Boy, Taiwa 14, good morning. Harrison McFarland, Blackhawks 24/7, Ryan Videos, good morning. Corey Williams, Take Paul's show. TV is a dying medium, sir. Uncle Lou has no interest in a TV show. YouTube is the future. If you know anybody under the age of 15, maybe you're under the age of 15, how often do those people watch TV? Never. Uncle Lou's got 2 kids, 9 and 11. They hardly know what a TV show is. YouTube is the future. Maybe Paul Feinbaum's figuring that out, and that's why he wants to get off the SEC network. I don't know. But anyway, YouTube is where you can find Uncle Lou. And there's no restrictions on Uncle Lou here either. Good morning, and you are the first caller on the Uncle Lou Show.
All right, so I'm going to start off with, I'm not going to give you any context to why I'm doing this, but I want everybody in the comment section right now to subscribe to Bender Rodriguez. All right?
That's a good idea, to be honest. I didn't even know Bender Rodriguez was making videos, but of course, as usual, anybody that participates in the Uncle Lou Show, whether it's the comment section, calling in, whatever, I'll always encourage everybody to subscribe to those people. At least give them a shot. Watch a couple of their videos or whatever. So, like Squid Tard said, subscribe to Bender Rodriguez. But what's up, Squid Tard?
Yeah, I'll explain that later. But
well, that's
hey,
fine.
What's up?
But don't make me explain
up,
the rules of the show again, sir. I explicitly laid out the instructions at the beginning of the show, so go.
All right, so who I think the best quarterback is in the SEC probably has to be Drew Lock from Missouri or Nick Fitzgerald. One of those two, but probably Drew Lock. Now, again, you can't win all of your games with just the quarterback, so I'd still think Missouri is going to struggle this year. Their defense is just so bad, but still, I do think Drew Lock is the best quarterback in the SEC.
Wouldn't it be something if you could combine Drew Lock and Nick Fitzgerald? Because let's be honest here. Drew Lock is an elite passer, but not necessarily known for his mobility. Now, he's not a statue, but he's not a dual threat quarterback, right? He's a pocket passer quarterback, elite passer. Nick Fitzgerald, on the other hand, not the greatest passer. He's not the best passer in the SEC. I mean, no one would argue that. There's 5 or 6 quarterbacks ahead of Nick Fitzgerald in terms of just passing the ball. But he gives you that extra ability that everybody wants right now to be able to run around. If you could combine those two, you'd have a Heisman Trophy candidate on your hands, wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah. Now, here's what I don't understand, though. A lot of people think that neither of those two should compete for best quarterback in the SEC, and they're saying that the best one should be Tua Tagovailoa. If you think that or Jalen Hurts should be the best quarterback in the SEC, then you're probably either an Alabama fan or you're on drugs. Let
me ask you this, because this is an argument I've been having with some Georgia fans online lately. To me, you can be an elite college level quarterback. I mean, this has been proven, and never make it in the NFL, right? Maybe you're. Yeah. I mean, Lamar Jackson's chances in the NFL, I would argue, are pretty small. Look at Tim Tebow is a good example. Let me ask you this: if you were starting an NFL team tomorrow, and you had to pick your starting quarterback from the SEC right now. Not to run your college team, you're starting an NFL team. Which quarterback in the SEC right now do you think would make the best pro quarterback, NFL quarterback?
I'm probably going to have to go with either Drew Lock, Nick Fitzgerald. They have more experience on the field because they're going to be like seniors or junior, I'm not sure, but I do know that they have a lot more experience on the field than Jalen Hurts or Tua. So that's why I'm saying
how tall is
Drew Lock?
And if you don't know, maybe somebody in the comment section knows, how tall is Drew Lock? Is he like in the 6'3", 6'4" range, or is he shorter than that?
I could have sworn he was shorter. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I never paid attention to it. I try not to pay attention to Missouri.
I hear you. Well, Nick Bro said that he's 7'3", so a couple people are saying 6'3". That sounds about right to me. 6'4", 6'5". To me, like 6'2", to me is like the cutoff for odds of making it in the NFL. And I know everybody always wants to point to Drew Brees and Russell Wilson. Okay, that's 2 starting quarterbacks out of 32 that are 6'2" or shorter. You know what I mean? Height matters, I think, and this gets back to what I was saying about arguing with some Georgia fans. A lot of Georgia fans think Jake Fromm's going to be, next Tom Brady or something in the NFL. And maybe he will, I don't know, but he's borderline on that 6'1", 6'2" range. To me, he's more of like an Aaron Murray type, and which I would take that every year. But I'm just not sure, Fromm is big enough to be elite in the NFL. But anyway, that's what I was getting at with the height thing. But what's on your mind, Squidtard, now that I've made you answer all my pointless questions? Well, he either hung up or the call disconnected. He may have got tired of hearing me talk, which is possible. 706-510-6817. If you have any interest at all in being on the Uncle Lou show, now would be a good time to do it. Oh, I don't speak pineapple, woo! Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou, too.
Hi, it's Oi Flat. You're not a Mississippi State fan from Tucson?
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Yo, you were talking about the quarterbacks earlier, and he totally forgot about Stidham. I really like Stidham.
I almost mentioned Stidham when he was talking. I think Stidham's got some pro potential too. I think he's got a few things he's got to work on. I think he's very easily rattled when things don't go his way. I look at the Clemson game. I look at the second Georgia game when he's pressured.
Oh yeah, that game's like 7 sacks.
Yeah, I mean, Clemson and Georgia had two of the best defenses in America, so maybe that's not a fair judgment. But it just seems to me like he plays, he struggles when the pocket isn't perfect. You know, when players get around, when he's under pressure, it seems like he struggles a little. But he's got a good arm; he can make all the throws. And I don't know if I would classify him as a typical dual threat quarterback. I know Auburn fans do. But he's very mobile. So even if you want to argue that he's not a dual threat quarterback, he's very mobile, which is great in today's game. So that's a good point. I think he belongs on any top 2 or 3 list of SEC quarterbacks for sure.
I would say that he's more balanced. Like,
yeah,
he can run if he has to. That's a big thing. If he has to run, he can definitely like hurt a defense by doing that, you know?
Right. Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, when you get in the NFL, running ability is nice to have, but if you don't have an elite arm, the NFL is not interested in how good you are at running around, you know? And I think Stidham's got the arm and the size to do it. There's just a few things he needs to clean up. I think he'll definitely get a shot in the NFL. I don't know how highly he'll be drafted, but I think he will be drafted and get a shot somewhere in the NFL, even if it's as a backup somewhere.
Do you think Auburn's gonna be improved next year, or do you think they're gonna be worse?
I don't think they're gonna be improved record-wise. They may end up being a little bit better of a team. I mean, that's possible. I don't see them winning at Georgia or at Alabama. And I question whether or not they can win all 10 of the other games on their schedule, even though they'll likely be favored in all 10 of those games. They're a 3-point favorite right now over Washington, and I can't make up my mind on that game. I've gotten several requests to preview Washington's season and Auburn's season, and I keep putting it off because I don't want to talk about that Washington-Auburn game yet because I haven't decided which way I want to go. They've got some tough ones. Mississippi State will be okay this year. Of course, LSU is always a tough game, but they get LSU at home. Texas A&M will be better with Jimbo Fisher. So I don't know. I could see them losing 3 or 4 games and then see what happens in a bowl game. I don't think they get to 10 wins this year, though.
Oh yeah. I hope Mississippi State, my team. I hope we don't get blown out by them again. I hope it loses at least competitive. Last year, when we played Georgia, when we played Auburn, we just didn't show up at all.
It was weird.
I felt like it was just a road.
Yeah, you guys blew LSU out in, what was that, week 2, I think, and then you come to Athens in week 3 and got ran off the field really, and then followed that up with another beatdown at Auburn. And then the season ended obviously on a horrible note with that Fitzgerald injury. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this or not, but the Mississippi State-Florida game, to me, is one of the most interesting games of the year. I think you guys are going to beat Florida, and to me, that's going to be hilarious. Dan Mullen thinks he upgraded by going to Florida. I disagree. I think he downgraded. I think Mississippi State's a better team right now than Florida is. And what's funny is Florida fans said, well, Dan Mullen just couldn't recruit it. You just can't recruit at Mississippi State like you can at Florida. Well, check the 2019 recruiting rankings.
I think we have a top 10.
Yeah, Mississippi State is ahead of Florida. Mississippi State's ahead of Florida right now in the 2019 recruiting rankings. So I don't know. I think you guys will beat Florida, which will be hilarious. Mississippi State's a dark horse pick to win the West.
Top 30?
Are they who?
Are they even top 30?
They're right around. They're right around 30. They might be 32 or 33. They might be 27 or 28. I haven't looked in a week or so, but they're a good 10 or 15 spots below Mississippi State right now. But what do you think?
The few things I did.
What do you think
I didn't like about Mullen?
What do I? I'm sorry. Go ahead. There's a delay, and we keep talking over each other. But you go ahead.
He was never all that at recruiting. I think while he was there, we only managed to snag 2 5-stars. We only got 2 5-stars the whole time he was there, I believe. Chris Jones and Jeffrey Simmons. I think you know who both of them are.
Yeah.
And some of his play calling left me scratching my head. What the hell is this guy doing? When we had Dak Prescott, it'd be like, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. We just, quarterback draw up the middle. It gets stuffed, and until we lost a lot of games because of stupid play calling like that.
Yeah, he had he at times I agree with you. I thought he became too reliant on his quarterback's running ability. You saw that some with Nick Fitzgerald too. There was a lot of times where it felt like he thought y'all's best play was a quarterback draw. And it's great to have that running quarterback and be able to have that play to use, but I don't know, it did seem like sometimes he was relying on that a little too much. I would agree with you there. What's your expectations for Mississippi State this year? We don't get a lot of Mississippi State fans that call in, so I'd like to know what you guys are thinking this year as fans of where y'all might end up this year.
As a state fan, you can't expect to go, like 12-0, like Alabama or Georgia, Ohio State, or some powerhouse teams like that. I'm fine with the 9-3. I would love 10 wins. I don't know. I never really have high expectations, but most of our starters.
I can definitely see 8 or 9 wins. Like I said, I think y'all will beat Florida. You'll probably be underdogs, I would assume, to Auburn and Alabama. LSU, I think y'all can beat LSU. I think LSU is going to have a rough year this year. I mean, it's no secret. I'm not an Orgeron fan at all. I think he's in way over his head. They still don't have a quarterback. They're on another offensive coordinator now. They don't have a single running back on their team that's ever scored a college touchdown. I just think it's going to be a rough year for LSU. So I could see you finishing ahead of them for sure. I can see you finishing ahead of Arkansas, obviously. Ole Miss, I think you guys get revenge on them this year and beat them no problem. Maybe it comes down to Mississippi State and Texas A&M for that 3rd spot in the West, depending on how quick Jimbo Fisher can get Texas A&M up and running. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if things go sideways for Auburn for it to come down to y'all and Alabama for the West. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty high on Mississippi State this year. Probably higher than the average person is. I don't know what their win-loss total is in Vegas or whatever, but I would bet that my win-loss total is a game or two higher for Mississippi State.
I hope. Hey, if we beat Ole Miss, that's like a successful season for me.
Right.
I don't know if it's like Dean, but Ole Miss, Mississippi State fans, they really hate each other. Like, it's, in my opinion, it's worse. The hatred is probably worse than Alabama and Auburn fans when it comes to that game.
Yeah, I know it's brutal.
I'm worried about this. They have the best receiver in the nation, in my opinion, and A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Their receiving core is good, but that's really all they got.
They like their quarterback, of course. They basically ran Shea Patterson off. They like that new quarterback so much. I don't know. I'm not convinced, but we'll see.
Yeah, they have their own quarterback with Hawaiian or some Owen descent or whatever he is.
Yeah.
He's like Tua. He's really good.
Right. Oh, I don't speak pineapple, woo! But anyway, I appreciate the call, and I hope you'll keep watching throughout the season and call in every once in a while. Because like I said, we don't get a whole lot of Mississippi State fans, so I'd love to keep in touch with you, and you can keep us up to date on what's going on with Mississippi State.
All right, man.
All right, thanks for the call.
Enjoy the rest of the stream.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a good call, Mississippi State fan. So that guy had plenty of cowbell, which is good. And we need people like that to keep calling in. We need to expand the fan base here on the Uncle Lou show. So hopefully he doesn't disappear. That was a good call too. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou. Also, and two, in addition to that, as well. So.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm doing great, Jared, the Vandy fan. What's going on?
All right. I just want to talk about two things, all right?
All right.
Since, the topic of this call is, best SEC QBs, right?
Right.
I'm the only person who thinks Kyle Shurmur is, undervalued and underrated when comparing other SEC QBs. Or is that just me?
I don't think it's just you. I think there are people that think Kyle Shermer's a pretty good quarterback. But let me ask you this: you don't have to rank a bunch of QBs or anything, but just give me a number. There's 14 starting quarterbacks in the SEC. Where would you put Shermer in there? Is he fourth? Is he eighth? Is he fifth? What do you think?
I would put him either 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
So, number 1, I would have Locke. That's who I'd have number 1. And then I'd have Fromm at 2. And then either Sidham or Shermer at 3. And then whoever is not at 3 is at 4. And then Nick Fitzgerald's at 5.
I mean, obviously, a lot of people are going to have some issues with that list, but I mean, you can make a case, I think, for every spot that you named there. Let me make this point about Kyle Shermer real quick, because you mentioned him being, in your mind, underrated. You know who I think the most overrated SEC quarterback is? And then you can tell me who you think the most overrated. But to me, and no one has mentioned this guy yet, so maybe he's not all that overrated. I don't know. But to me, the most overrated quarterback in the SEC, Jake Bentley. What has this guy ever done?
Actually, I 100% agree with you. I brought this up on a call before. That I said Jake Bentley's the most overrated quarterback. I brought this up before.
I even fell for it for a while because I kept hearing, I guess, Carolina fans saying how good he was. I even fell for it. Like, I even started thinking, like, wait a minute, is he good? He's not very good. Has he beaten a ranked team?
INT ratio 17 to 11. He's terrible. His touchdown INT ratio 17 to 11.
Yeah, I was looking some stuff up because I was like, I think I've been wrong on this guy. And like you mentioned, his TD to interception ratio is terrible. I can't think of I don't know if he's beaten a ranked team. I can't think of one. He hadn't beat Georgia. He hadn't beat Clemson. Those are the only 2 ranked teams.
Kyle Shermer's at least done that. Kyle Shermer's at least beaten Georgia.
You watch your mouth, son.
That was 2 years ago.
Were we ranked then?
I think they were like 24.
Oh, okay.
You weren't very high.
Anyway, that's ancient history, man. Why? I mean, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on. But anyway, what else you want to talk about? What else is on your mind besides SEC quarterbacks today?
Okay, I got a bold prediction. There's no way that this is happening. That's why it's a bold prediction. Vandy starts 4-0. But then again, they start 5-0.
Okay, I'm going to get you to repeat that because I think I know what you said, but then I was like, no, that he couldn't have he couldn't have said that. You're making a prediction on the Vandy schedule, you said? Type.
5-0.
Vandy starts 5-0.
There's no way that's happening. There's no way that's happening. That's what's a bold prediction.
That's very bold, sir. I mean, obviously you're going to be. I mean, you'll be favored in 3 of those games, won't you?
Yeah, we're favored against MTSU, Nevada, and Tennessee State.
I'll be honest. I've seen a lot of schedule predictions that have you starting 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's a bull. That's bull. They have us either losing to MTSU or Nevada, which MTSU's not bad. Nevada went 3-9, and Tennessee State's an FCS school.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be an embarrassment to the SEC if you lose any of those 3 games. No real shame in losing to Notre Dame and South Carolina. I mean, obviously you're a Vanderbilt fan. I get that. I know what it's like to be a homer and always think your team has a chance, but point is, if you ask 100 people on the street who's going to win between Vanderbilt and Notre Dame,
they're all going to pick.
Most people are going to go with Notre Dame, and I would be willing to bet that almost as many people are going to pick South Carolina. Now, you do get South Carolina at home, which helps, but Yeah, I mean, I told you last time you called in. There's some schedule predictions going around that have Vanderbilt finishing the year at 2-10. So,
Yeah, there's no way that they obviously must not think Vandy's gonna be good, even though they have. You could make a case that Shermer's a top 3 quarterback in the SEC,
yeah,
or even top 2.
right.
I guess they just negate that we have a good quarterback, and like, I'm not gonna lie, we did. Oh my God, I hate seeing our defense from last year. If you want to know, our defense averaged giving up 43 points a game.
Yeah, you're not going to win very many games that way. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to win. You need to win these 2 games against the West. You're playing, in my opinion, the 2 worst teams from the West. So you need to win those games. And then I think I might have told you this before too. There's a very strong possibility that Tennessee is going to be sitting at 5 wins when you play them the last game of the year. You already know.
True.
You already know there'll be a lot of people pulling for Vanderbilt in that game if that's the case.
They're almost like, no one wants Tennessee to be back.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. I look at this schedule and I say, I think if you want to make a bowl game, if you want to make a bowl game, you better beat 3 out of these 4 teams. Kentucky, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. You got to beat 3 of those teams, and then you can't lose to any of these cupcakes you play in the first month of the season. I think you're going to be close. I could see you falling somewhere in the... If things go bad, I could see you winning 4 games. If things go good, I think you could win 6 or 7. That would probably be my range on Vanderbilt right now.
Yeah. The only game that I think, there's 2 games that I think could pull us to either 8 or 9 wins, which I don't think will happen, is that South Carolina game and the Florida game. Because both of those are at home, and Florida is still skeptical at quarterback. Not to mention we play Florida after they play LSU, Mississippi State, and Tennessee.
Yeah. Good luck, sir. I don't know what. I mean, it's going to be, I can see a way to 6 wins here, but a lot of things, you have to pretty much win every game you can, and then you can't screw any of these cupcake games up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Florida game will be interesting. I don't know. We'll see. Tennessee game.
I love how these teams like pick us to go 2-10, have us losing to Tennessee State. Hello. These first 2 teams are actually in Division 1 FBS. That team's in FCS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
That's almost as bad as picking Tennessee to go 15-0. That's almost as bad as that.
Tennessee's not going 15-0. I mean, come on. But let me go. I got to give this jersey away and then take some more calls.
Yep.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Jared. Thanks for the call, buddy. Jared, the Vandy fan. The dude is loyal. You can say what you want about Vanderbilt or whatever, but anybody that's willing to show up week in and week out on a college football trash talk channel on YouTube and represent Vanderbilt earns my respect. So I see somebody's trying to call in right now. I'm going to go ahead and give this jersey away, and then I'll get right back to the phone calls. If you're new to the show or unsure about the jersey thing, I give a jersey away once a month. So we basically, from the first of the month to the last day of the month is your chance to enter for the jersey. And then sometime in the first or second week of the following month, we give the jersey away. It's any team. It's a jersey of any team of your choosing. So it's not just a Georgia jersey just because I happen to be a Georgia fan. It's a jersey of the team of your choosing. The way if you want to enter to win the jersey, you have to do that through the Patreon page. The Patreon page, the link to the Patreon page is in the description of every video I upload and every live video I do. It's the first link in the description of every video. It even says if you want to win a jersey or if you want to support the UNCLELOU channel, whatever it says, and win a jersey, and there's a link there. That takes you to the Patreon. page. The Patreon page is basically like a subscription page. You'll figure it out. It's self-explanatory once you get there. But every dollar that you give is one entry to win the jersey. So if you go to the Patreon page and give $1, you get one entry for a jersey for that month. If you go to the Patreon page and give $100, you get 100 entries for the jersey for that month. That's the way it works. I've got everyone's name written down that's entered for the month of June, and I'm doing it the same way I always do it, a random name picker off the internet here on the computer. Everyone's name is entered in, so good luck to everyone, which is Kyle, Alan, Jeremy, Mark, Jamie, Garrett, Robert, and Doug. Good luck to all of you, sir. Everyone's name is entered in. Let me give me 1 second to pull this page up. I've got it loaded up. I just have to find it. Here it is. Everyone's name is on here. Some people's names are on here multiple times, depending on how many entries you had. Where is it at? Pick a random name. All right, 1, 2, 3, click, and the winner is Jamie W. Jamie W. I don't know if you're watching right now or not. Maybe you'll watch this later. Jamie W., you are the winner for the month of June. So email me, sir, and I will arrange to get you the jersey of the team of your choosing. If I'm not mistaken, Jamie W. is a Georgia fan. I could be wrong about that, but I think he's a Georgia fan. But email me. In fact, I'll email you tomorrow if I don't hear from you. I have your email address. I'll email you tomorrow, and I'll get with you, and we will work all that out. If you didn't win, I'm sorry. We will give another one away the first week of August for everyone that enters during the month of July. So we've been doing that every month this year now. So what is this, the 5th or 6th one we've given away now? So congrats, Jamie. If you didn't win, I'm sorry, and hopefully, better luck next time. I'm sorry. I told y'all before, if I could afford to give all of y'all a jersey, I would. But this is just the fairest way I can come up with to do it. So anyway, congratulations, Jamie W. Email me. If not, I'll get in touch. Oh, I see him. There he is. So congratulations, Jamie. Email me. I think you know the email address, crazyunclelou@gmail.com. Thank you, Roll Tide, big and old country boy Duck Dynasty fan. Donated a couple of dollars here on the live stream. Thank you, sir. You're good people. I still wish you would change your YouTube name just so it's something a little bit more, normal. But of course that's up to you. Anyway, back to the phones here, I think, if we can without a problem. More phone calls? Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou too, also, and as well. In addition to that, how you doing?
Good, how are you, Uncle Lou?
Man, I'm doing great. What's going on today?
I just had one question for you.
What's that?
And I was just wondering about your predictions on the team you really don't like that well, South Carolina this season.
It's been no secret. I made a video way back in, I think, February, where I stated that I think South Carolina is going to have a good team this year. I think they're gonna benefit again, I think, from Florida and Tennessee being down, and it would not surprise me at all to see Carolina get to double-digit wins. I'm not sure they can get there in the regular season. Obviously, like everybody else on planet Earth, if I had to pick the South Carolina-Georgia game right now, I'd pick Georgia, and if I had to pick the South Carolina-Clemson game, I would pick Clemson. So to me, that's 2 losses. That would put them at 10-2. So then I have to ask myself, do I think South Carolina is talented enough, deep enough, and do I think Will Muschamp is a good enough coach to beat 10 out of 10 teams that he's supposed to beat? And my answer to that question is no. And that's not an insult. Almost every team loses every year to somebody that they're not supposed to. Alabama lost to Auburn. Clemson lost to Syracuse. Oklahoma lost to Iowa State. Ohio State lost to Iowa. So that's not an insult. So I could see Carolina going 9-3, finishing second in the East, probably behind Georgia. And if they can win their bowl game, finish up at 10-3, which would be amazing if you consider that they won 3 games and lost to the Citadel just 3 years ago. So I think that's a compliment to South Carolina, but a few South Carolina fans have got upset with me for saying that. So.
Oh, no, I'm not upset. I think a 10-3 season would be great. I think it's going to be tough to beat because I'm really high on Texas A&M and Mississippi State this year. But one of my friends is an Alabama fan, and he said he doesn't think that Carolina could win half their games, and I just think that's ridiculous.
Oh, I do too. I mean, look at the schedule. I'm not sure if I have it. I don't think I have it on here to put on the screen. But I mean, they play all the East teams. So, listen, Tennessee has never beat Will Muschamp. Even when Will Muschamp was at Florida winning 4 games a year, he still beat Tennessee. So you have to assume South Carolina is going to beat Tennessee. You have to assume they're going to beat Vandy. You have to assume they're going to beat Missouri, although I think that could be a good game. Now, here's what could make or break South Carolina being an 8-win team or possibly a 9 and 10-win team. They've lost to Kentucky 4 years in a row. That can't continue. You can't be taken seriously and have a 4-game losing streak to Kentucky. So they need to beat Kentucky. They usually play early in the year. I'm assuming they play early in the year again this year. I can't find their schedule here to pull up. I wish I had it, but I'm pretty sure they play Kentucky. I do have it. Hold on. I have it right here. So I'll pull it up. Kentucky, September 29th. So they're actually their 5th game. So Coastal Carolina, that's 1 win. Marshall, that's 2 wins. Vandy, that's 3 wins. If they beat Kentucky, that's 4 wins. If they beat Ole Miss, that's 5 wins. If they beat whatever that C is, that's 6 wins. That's half their games right there. Then you add Missouri, a few other wins. I mean, they could easily go 9-3. Well, maybe not easily, but if they win less than 8 games, that's a huge disappointment. They're probably the 2nd or 3rd most talented team in the East, at least. So they need to be winning 8 or 9 games. Your Alabama friend that said 6, that would be a huge disappointment.
And also, me and my friends have this thing where we have to choose an upset team. Do you believe there's any way that Mississippi State or Texas A&M could win the West this year or next year?
My dark horse pick for the SEC West would be Mississippi State. Obviously, they're not going to be a favorite or anything like that. Most people are going to pick Alabama. Maybe a few people think Auburn has a chance. But so if you start talking about like an upset pick or a dark horse pick, I don't think Auburn or Alabama qualify to be a dark horse pick. Mississippi State and Texas A&M do. Out of those 2 teams, I like Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State is better than Texas A&M now, but I think Texas A&M is better in the long run. I think Jimbo Fisher's a good enough coach that he can get Texas A&M above Mississippi State. But right now, I think Mississippi State is a better team.
All right. Well, thank you for answering my questions for me. I'll call you next time you go live.
Okay, I appreciate you watching and thanks for the call. That was a good call. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you seem like good people. So thank you. Also into
Stop trolling me!
706-510-6817. We still got time for a few more phone calls. If you want to be on, then go ahead and call in. It's not that hard. Even Jared from Vandy can do it. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou here. Yep, good morning. And as soon as I say it's not that hard, somebody forgets how to speak. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou, too. I hear you breathing, so good morning.
Hey,
Hey, good morning.
good morning to you too.
Can I take your order?
I got a question for you, Luke.
Okay, what's that?
What are your predictions for Auburn's record this season? How do you think it'll do?
I think Auburn is losing on the road to Georgia and Alabama. They haven't played well on the road under Gus Malzahn. I mean, even last year, blowing that huge lead at LSU, losing to Georgia in Atlanta, and then losing to Central Florida in Atlanta. I'll know a lot more about Auburn after week 1 when they play Washington, but if I had to pick a record for Auburn right now, it would be 9-3. And I'm gonna do a preview video on them here coming up, and I'll go in depth and pick a record for real. But off the top of my head right now, I'll say 9-3.
That's a pretty good prediction. I thought they would, in my opinion, I thought they would go 10-2.
10-2 is likely. I mean, if you look at their schedule right now, if they beat Washington, they don't play anybody else on their schedule that's better than that until the end of the year when they play Georgia and Alabama. So if they beat Washington, I think 10-2 is possible. My question marks about Auburn are offensive line and running back. They lost Carrie Ann Luggage and Kim Petaway. They're both gone to the NFL. Now, the thing is, Auburn fan will tell you, and I don't know if, are you an Auburn fan?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah, a lot of Auburn fans tell me, they'll say, we're fine at running back. We go 7 deep. We're 7 deep at running back. That's fine to tell me that. The problem is, 2 years ago, you had Cam Petaway. The dude was a beast. Gus Malzahn ran him into the ground halfway through November. He got hurt. You had nobody to back him up that was any good. You played a terrible Georgia team. You couldn't even get a first down. We beat you without scoring an offensive touchdown. Last year, same exact story with a different horse. You dig up Kerryon Johnson. You run him into the ground in November. You show up in Atlanta for the SEC championship game with no running game, and you just look absolutely horrible, and then you lose to a one-armed man in the bowl game. So I like Jared Stidham. We talked about him earlier. He's probably a top 2 or 3 quarterback in the SEC, NFL potential. But I think Auburn needs to have a running game. So they got some question marks on the offensive line. You lost your offensive line coach. We'll see how much that helps or hurts you. And I know you've got some talented running backs, but you don't really have any running backs that have ever done anything on the college level, because you guys have depended so heavily on one running back for, 2 years ago, it was all Cam Petaway. Last year, it was all Kerryon Johnson. They're both gone. So if I see that Auburn comes out and has a couple of really good running backs and Jared Stidham is lighting it up, then I'm more likely to think they finish 10-2. If they struggle, because the defense is going to be elite. I haven't even mentioned the defense because there's really nothing to talk about. The defense is going to be elite. I think the question marks with Auburn are they struggle on the road, and I need to see a running game to complement Jared Stidbaloney.
I know for sure that we're going to have a good and fast secondary, but
your front four is unreal. I mean, you've got your defensive front is top 5 probably in America. I mean, Auburn, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. I mean, these are teams with NFL front fours. Clemson.
Yeah. Our linebackers like Darrell Williams, DeAndre Davis. DeAndre Davis was a beast last year. Last year he was a tackling machine. He was leading Auburn with tackles. He was a beast last year.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm going to snort some cayenne pepper up my nose.
The only thing I'm really worried about is our offensive line, because we lose so many good offensive linemen.
You lost a couple of starters and the O-line coach, and not a lot of people talk about that, but that can be that could end up being a big deal. we'll see. But I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the question marks that everybody has about Auburn is offensive line and run game and road games. You know, it's pretty much the same song no matter who you ask. So.
Well, on the running back position, that's kind of a concern too. Cam Martin, he's got to get bigger. If he wants to be a good running back, he's got to get bigger. I mean, I know he's quick. He's just too small. But Jatavius Whitlow, he's a freshman that came in this year. And he had a really good spring game, and I think he's got some potential that he could actually have a starting place on the team.
Yeah, I mean, it would really benefit Auburn, in my opinion, if they could develop more than one running back at a time. I mean, you've seen Georgia do that. Alabama has made a living off of that. I mean, honestly, most teams do that. Oklahoma had 2 or 3 running backs they rotated in or out, and it's just when you watch Auburn the last couple of years, it's just, you know, Cam Petaway, 25, 30, 35 carries a game. And then last year, same thing with Carey and Luggage, Karen Johnson, you know, 25, 30, 35 carries a game. You look at a team like Georgia, Sony Michel averaged 11 carries a game. Nick Chubb averaged 13 carries a game. It's hard to get by all season with only one legit running back. So I think Auburn would benefit from having a couple. So like I said, we'll see. And the thing is, you don't have to wait long to find out if you're an Auburn fan, because Washington is the real deal. Yeah, I give the West Coast a lot of hell here on LouTube, and in general, I think the Pac-12 is terrible. But if you underestimate Washington, they're going to come in and whip you. I mean, Jake Browning is the real deal. He might be the best quarterback you see all year. That includes Jake Fromm. That includes whoever Alabama puts out there. That includes Nick Fitzgerald that you'll see. I mean, Jake Browning is the real deal. He's been starting for 3 or 4 years out there. They've got an NFL wide receiver. Their defense is loaded. They have an elite running back. I mean, they're the real deal. So we'll see. You guys are on a 2-game losing streak right now in Atlanta. You play Washington in Atlanta week 1. Yeah. So don't embarrass the SEC by losing your 3rd straight game. And this time to a Pac-12 team. Don't do it. But I mean, I'm telling you that's one of the hardest week 1 games to pick to me. That and LSU, Miami are hard games to pick in my opinion. So I'll be rooting for you. Uncle Lou's an SEC homer, so I spend a lot of time trash talking all these other SEC teams, but when they play non-SEC teams, I'm SEC all the way. So I mean, I'll be pulling for you, and that'll be one of the games I watch for sure. So.
If our offensive line holds up, I think we have a really, I think Stidham can throw a really good deep ball, especially with really good and tall receiver Darius Slayton. He's quick, he's fast, he's tall. He's a really good deep threat, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we'll like I said, we don't have to wait long for Auburn. We'll find out week 1. Georgia plays a middle school team week 1. We won't know anything till week 2. But if you're an Auburn fan, you'll know where you're at right away, because you have to play on the road. So yes, that'll be one of your questions answered right there. You have to play on the road in a building that you've lost 2 straight in Atlanta, and you're playing a legitimate team. So we'll see what type of running game you have. We'll see how Stidbaloney looks. We'll see what's up with the offensive line. We'll see if Gus Malzahn can get along with the offensive coordinator this year. Read option. Beep. Boop. We won't have to wait long. So definitely one of the biggest games of week 1. A lot of people looking forward to that one, sir. So. Okay,
Lou. Well, thank you for answering my call.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, man, and I hope to hear from you again throughout the season. Good call, sir. Thank you. 706-510-6817 if you want to try to get on the show. We'll try to get 1 or 2 more calls in before we have to call it quits for the day. We'll have another live show tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you're not able to get through today, we'll do this again tomorrow, Friday, at 3 p.m. Eastern. So
I bust my ass, Lou. That's what I do every day. So you be careful
good
who
morning,
you mouth off
Uncle
to.
Lou.
Jerk
also,
off.
And 2, what can we do for you this evening? So, no, they changed their mind and hung up. So his loss is someone else's gain. and you are that someone else, sir. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou, too.
Hey, what's going on, Uncle Lou?
I can't call it, man. You tell me.
What are the odds you think the University of Michigan wins the Big Ten?
I'm high on Michigan this year. If you saw my Michigan preview, then you already know that. I think I picked them to go 10-2 with losses to Wisconsin and Ohio State. I think if they can win even one of those games, then they'll probably make it to the Big Ten title game, and then, win that, and you probably make the playoff. I wouldn't consider them a favorite right now to make the playoff. I think most people are going to be on the Ohio State train again. We'll have to see how their new quarterback works out. Can't be any worse than J.T. Barrett. That guy was an absolute disaster. He's at Ohio State for like 12 or 13 years and never got any better. So I don't know. We'll see. You guys get Shea Patterson, so be the best quarterback Harbaugh's had since he got there. You have an NFL defense. You already know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Your defense isn't the issue. It's been your offense. So if Shea Patterson can get going, then you guys could make a serious run towards the college football playoff. That's been the only thing really that's missing. Your defense is lights out, but you got to get the offense going. And Harbaugh's got to beat. He can't lose to Ohio State and Michigan State again. That can't happen. He's got to. I mean, I know Michigan fans want to beat them both, and it's possible that you can, but he can't lose both those games again. At some point, he's got to finish higher than third in his division. You guys are paying him $7-8 million a year. I mean, it's almost time. It's poop or get off the pot time for Jim Harbaugh, in my opinion. I mean, it's his fourth year, so he's got all his own players there now. No excuse with the quarterback. You bring in Shea Patterson. He's proven what he can do on Saturdays against elite defenses in the SEC. There's no reason Shea Patterson shouldn't go to Michigan and have a good year. So I expect big things from Michigan. I'm a little higher on him than a lot of other people are, but I think anything less than 10-2 would be a huge disappointment.
For sure. I think we'll beat Wisconsin this year.
Yeah, I think you get them at home, right?
We should have beat them last year.
Yeah, I think you get them at home. Now, they returned like 18, 19 starters off of last year's team. I mean, they are absolutely loaded. And they don't light it up on offense either, at least not throwing the ball. But that running back they got's the real deal. He was a freshman last year and ran for over 2,000 yards. Jonathan Taylor, I think he's the best running back in America right now. They get their quarterback back. Now, they're not going to beat anybody throwing the ball. He's not a world beater or anything like that, but he's experienced. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He knows how to run that offense. So, I mean, that's going to be a good game. Wisconsin's offensive line against Michigan's defensive front is one of the best matchups in all of college football this year because, Wisconsin's always got an elite offensive line. Michigan's defensive line is almost not even fair with Rashad Gary and Aubrey Solomon, and then even at the linebacker position, you got the Hudson guy, and there's one other guy at linebacker too. His name escapes me now, but I mean, you guys
Bush.
Yeah, Bush, yeah. You guys front seven is just almost not fair. So, I mean, that's sort of a boring matchup to most people, like an offensive line versus a defensive line. But to a hardcore football fan like me, that's going to be one hell of a matchup right there. Wisconsin's offensive line against Michigan's front seven. I mean, those are, you're talking about a top 2 or 3 defensive front in America with Michigan and a top 2 or 3 offensive line in America with Wisconsin. That's going to be a fun battle to watch. So.
Well, all right. Thanks for answering.
Yeah, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. And good luck to your Michigan Wolverines this year. And how'd you lose to South Carolina, though? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. How'd you lose to South Carolina? Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou, too.
Good morning, Uncle Lou.
Hey, good morning.
It's your tech fan from last week calling back. 2 things I want to talk about again today.
All right.
I'm going to give you probably my top 3, top 4 SEC QB since what the show's about.
All right.
Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of the schedule we got coming up this year.
Let's do it.
All right, okay, you want me to go from best to worst and top 4 or worst to best?
Surprise me.
Okay, so my top QB might surprise, might not, but it's Drew Lock. I mean, he's the most info-ready quarterback in the SEC. Like, he's even Heisman candidate. I mean, has terrific arm, great vision. I mean, what's so really bad about him besides he ain't that mobile?
Right.
Number 2, I will put Mr. Jake Fromm from the Dogs. Sucks he did injure his hand, but he'll be fine. I thought he injured his throwing hand for a minute whenever I heard that. A little excited there.
Non-throwing hand, luckily.
Backing him up.
We need to put him in a padded room, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And just leave him there till the season starts. This is his second redneck injury of the off season. So.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, I've got I really can't decide yet because I don't know who Alabama's going to start. If they start Tua, either way, either Alabama, I'll put at number 3. Because, I mean, I don't know really who they're going to start yet. They still haven't confirmed it yet. I mean, it is tough to call.
Yeah.
Number 4, we got Jordan Tayamu from Ole Miss, actually.
Ah, interesting pick there. Yeah, okay.
I think he's better than a lot of the people that he's better than Jake Bentley, if you ask me.
Yeah, Jake Bentley, I think, is the most overrated quarterback in the SEC.
I don't speak pineapple, woo!
100%. Now, I'll give you a rundown of the tech schedule. It's bowl prediction time.
All right, let's do it.
Now, I'm stretching on this here. I mean stretching.
All right.
But I think Tech and the Dogs going to Stanford Stadium both 11-0. Now, I'll give you game by game real quick on Tech schedule. Week 1, we do got Alcorn State. Shouldn't be a problem. We should breeze through that game, no question. Week 2 at USF. They did lose their, they have lost their starting quarterback in Flowers, so I think they'll still be getting that offense fixed. And takes a defense a little bit more than a week to prepare for the option, if you ask me. Week 3, we got going up to Pittsburgh, which is going to be, it'll be tough. I think we'll be able to stretch through it. The critical game we have to win is Clemson. That is a critical game for us to have this chance.
Yeah.
It's a critical game.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem, though.
Believe me, it will. If we win that, it's going to be a point. It'll be 1 point game to win that. But then we get if we beat Clemson, that's the only game I really feel besides Georgia really we have to worry about. We get Bowling Green, which I don't know at this point.
So once you beat, hold on, slow down now. Once you beat Clemson and Bowling Green without a problem, that'll put you at what, 5-0, 6-0, something like that.
5-0.
5-0. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you so far.
Then we got to go at Louisville, which I think this year our defense would have an easier time without them having Heisman Lamar Jackson just tearing through us. I mean, they'll probably have a down year if you ask me. No, I wouldn't be surprised. Nobody should really. And then we got Duke, which fluke game last year. I don't know how the hell we blew that one. You can't even pay me to figure that one out.
Well, Duke was good last year, though.
Yeah, I know, but we was up that game. I honestly thought we was going to do better, and then lo and behold, we we're down 20 in the fourth quarter. But I mean, Duke is good. At sometimes they can turn something from nothing to something sometimes.
Oh yeah,
you don't
just roll into Durham, North Carolina, and leave with a win over Duke.
No, we got Duke at home.
I'm talking about last year though.
Oh yeah. You're right.
I mean, you don't just roll into Durham, North Carolina and beat the Blue Devils at home like that.
Yeah, you're right. Well, then we get a good bye week, critical bye week. Not even good, critical. Then we got to go to Tulane Stadium, which I feel like people underrate is a hard place to play because if you go there and they start playing at the same man, I mean that stadium will start shaking. I've heard stories that water droplets start coming off the ground sometimes from just the intensity of it.
At Tulane. Is that what
we got Virginia Tech, who, in my opinion, they did lose their two best defensive players, which is outside for us. The Edmond brothers, which that I believe will help us. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, I'm with you so far. Where I think we're at. What are we at? 9-0 now, ain't it?
8-0.
8-0.
Then we gotta go at North Carolina.
Oh.
Which, I mean, that I feel like that shouldn't be a problem.
You do?
I mean, it's at North Carolina. I feel like it shouldn't be a problem because
weren't they the worst?
We had easy time with them last year. I feel like they're down a little bit.
Yeah, I think they were the worst team in the ACC last year.
It's not easy to play in North Carolina.
No, you don't know. Heck no.
Just upset us like nothing.
No, you don't just roll into Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and leave with a win.
You're right. Well, then after that would be 9-0. Then we got the critical game. At least it's at home. I think it's homecoming against Miami, which that game I can't wait. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, you guys are pretty much owned Mark Richt.
Sorry, Lou, I didn't hear you.
I said you guys. You said you got the Miami game coming up after that. And,
it's at home. I believe it's homecoming against Miami.
Homecoming against Miami.
I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
And then we got Virginia. I think we got Virginia at home too, if I'm not mistaken. But they lost their starting quarterback, Ben Kirk, who was actually very good. He was probably one of the top three in the ACC, probably three, if you ask me. I feel like he was very underrated because I watched some film of him, and he can do more than what people see in him. And then we reached Georgia, 11-0. We win by one overtime Hail Mary.
Yeah, I would say the chances of Georgia Tech winning a game throwing the ball are pretty high.
I'll say this though, the option, because teams expect us to run it so much, it can distract them, and we can disguise a pass play. I feel like, honestly, because granted, it's very. How do I put it? The scheme, I feel like people. I understand dog fans. You're supposed to say scheme, hate us. I understand that. But I feel like people that ain't dog fans, they underrate the scheme, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah. Georgia Tech's very underrated.
I feel like you're over there a little laughing, but it's all right. But there ain't nothing good but a good rivalry. But I feel like the scheme is underrated.
Hey.
Because,
what's that quarterback's name?
Our quarterback?
I can't remember. Hey, are y'all gonna play the same?
Marshall?
Is it? Yeah, I think. Yeah. Is he quarterback again this year?
Yeah, this is his senior season. He'll be gone next year.
Okay. Why is he 5'2"?
Oh, no. I will tell you this. You do talk about small quarterbacks. There is one quarterback I wish we had. I know you'll know him. Josh Nesbitt. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember him.
Now, you look at him. He's a big quarterback. He
Right.
could squat 700 pounds. My dad likes quarterbacks like that for our offense because they could put their nose, put the helmet down, and get a yard if we need it. But these small quarterbacks like Justin Thomas, Marshall, they can't do that. They're just too small. They just get pushed back easily. We have a quarterback that can put the nose down. We need a yard, put a nose down, and just go. That's the kind of quarterback I like.
Yeah, I mean, that quarterback y'all got now, when he comes up under center, his head is like underneath the center's balls. So.
Oh, you're right, 100%.
I mean, he's teeny tiny. He get like, I don't know. That's kind of an advantage. Like, he gets lost back there.
Eating a bowl of chili before the game.
Do y'all still have that offensive tackle that weighed 480 pounds, or did he go to the NFL?
He's gone. He ain't went to the NFL, but he's gone this season.
Okay, that
we
dude.
do have somebody coming from Hoover. I read about him. He's nicknamed like Monster something. I don't know. So a little bit about him. We also got that transfer from Ole Miss before, who is like 6'5", 320 something. He'll be helpful. We have to learn the scheme.
So, after you beat Georgia,
beat
Georgia and finished the season 12-0, who do you get to beat in the ACC championship game? Or do you get to beat?
Sorry, you were thinking that. What'd you say, Lou?
Yep. After you beat Georgia and finished the regular season 12-0, who do you get to beat in the ACC championship game there?
Well, it's between Clemson and Florida State. That
obviously.
I feel like, if you ask me, I think we'll end up facing Clemson again. I think they'll get their vengeance on us that game.
Hey, do you remember a couple of years ago when y'all went 3-9, but one of those 3 wins was against Florida State?
I was watching that game live. Yeah, I remember.
That was great. Didn't y'all block a kick or something at the very end to win that game or something?
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you this.
Florida State, what a joke, man. Yeah.
He's
hey,
crapped himself so
if
many
y'all,
times
if,
in the NFL,
if,
he's
yeah,
himself out of contracts over and over.
If y'all get Florida State in the ACC championship game, that game's already over. They got no chance. They couldn't even beat a 3-win Georgia Tech team. There's no way Florida State's beating this year's 12-0 Georgia Tech team, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. This is a prediction. This probably, I'm very slim on happening. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic.
That is a favorable schedule. That is a favorable schedule.
True prediction.
Yeah, if y'all, I think y'all could win 8 or 9 games. I think y'all can win 8 or 9 games.
I think 9 is fair.
Yeah, if y'all can get to 9, and then win a bowl game.
At Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
I think those 3 games are really.
Yeah.
I'm just hopeful that we go 12-0. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for any team to go 12-0. Alabama can't even do it easily.
That's very true. Very hard to go 12-0. But if anybody can do it, Paul Johnson can. So. Yeah. But anyway, hey, thanks for the call, man. I'm going to let you go.
I got one last question.
All right. Make it quick.
I just wondered this. Is there another team you would cheer for besides the Dogs?
People ask me that all the time.
Like,
yeah, people ask me that all the time. Like, what if Georgia didn't exist? Who would you root for? I have no way of knowing that, but I'm assuming it would be Georgia Tech.
My dad's a #1 Tech fan.
I'm assuming it would be Georgia Tech.
My dad's a #1 Tech fan. He has a backup team in Michigan.
That's silly. That don't make no sense.
And he thinks Harbaugh is actually the best coach in college football. Which I mean, he's top 5, honestly, if you ask me. I'm top 5.
again in case they didn't hear you.
Right there, Lou.
Say that again in case they didn't hear you.
Lou, you dead?
No, say that. Say what you said your friend said about Jim Harbaugh in case they didn't hear you.
My dad. He said that he's the best in college football. Well, you asked me. Well, if you really ask me. But if you ask me, Lou, I'll say he's top 7. But if you do ask me that, Lou, I will say he's the top 7. Top 7 coach.
All right, man. I gotta go though. That was a great call.
I'll go out and give you a laugh.
All right,
I'll call you next week, tomorrow. I'll just call you and give you a laugh, give you some insight, give you some predictions. Do what makes you laugh.
Thank you, sir. You're good people. Oh my God. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. Have a great morning.